Imagine holding something smaller than a grain of sand, something so tiny that your eyes could never see it. Now imagine that hidden inside it is enough energy to erase an entire city. For almost all of human history, that power existed silently beneath our feet, inside every rock, every mountain, even inside your own body. But nobody knew it was there. Until one day, humans accidentally discovered the greatest source of power the universe had ever placed in our hands. And within just a few decades, we transformed that discovery into the most destructive weapon ever built. The question isn't simply, how did humans invent the nuclear bomb? The real question is, why were we willing to? Every civilization believed it had mastered nature. We learned to control fire, then bronze, then iron. We built cities, ships, factories, engines. Every discovery made us feel more powerful, more civilized, more intelligent. But there was one secret nature refused to reveal: the atom. For thousands of years, atoms were nothing more than philosophy. Ancient thinkers imagined everything was made of tiny, indivisible particles. It sounded elegant, but nobody could prove it, because atoms were impossibly small, invisible, untouchable. They became one of humanity's oldest mysteries. And then, the 20th century arrived. Everything changed. Scientists across Europe began asking dangerous questions. Not dangerous because they involved weapons. Dangerous because they challenged reality itself. They discovered strange rays coming from certain rocks. Materials that seemed alive, without fire, without heat, without fuel. They emitted energy continuously, day after day, year after year. Nobody understood why. It felt impossible. Energy couldn't simply appear from nowhere. Except, it wasn't appearing. It had been hiding all along, inside atoms. This is where the story becomes unsettling, because discovering atoms didn't immediately lead to bombs. It led to wonder. Scientists weren't trying to destroy cities. Most simply wanted to understand the universe. They believed knowledge was inherently good. If you understand nature, humanity benefits. That had always been true before. Fire cooked food. Electricity lit homes. Medicine saved lives. Why would atomic physics be any different? They had no idea they were opening a door that could never be closed. In the early 1900s, physicists slowly uncovered an astonishing truth. Atoms weren't solid. They weren't tiny, indestructible marbles. They were mostly empty space, with an unimaginably dense nucleus at the center. And somehow, that tiny nucleus contained incredible energy. Not chemical energy, something much deeper. Energy woven into matter itself. It sounded absurd, until one equation explained everything. E equals mc squared. Suddenly, matter wasn't just matter anymore. Mass could become energy. Tiny amounts of mass. Gigantic amounts of energy. Most people saw a beautiful scientific equation. A few realized something terrifying. If someone ever learned how to unlock that energy, nothing on Earth would ever be the same. But unlocking it seemed impossible. Atoms were stable. Nature protected them carefully. Their energy remained trapped, hidden, safe. Then, in 1938, something strange happened. Scientists bombarded uranium atoms with tiny particles called neutrons. They expected one result. Instead, the uranium nucleus split in half. Nobody had predicted it. Even stranger, the split released more neutrons. Those neutrons struck other uranium atoms, which released more neutrons, which split more atoms. A chain reaction, like a line of falling dominoes. Except each domino exploded with the force of millions of chemical reactions. Humanity had just discovered a way to unleash the hidden energy inside matter. And almost nobody realized what that meant. Then politics entered the story, and science changed forever. Europe was collapsing into chaos. A dictator named Adolf Hitler had begun expanding across the continent. Many of the world's greatest physicists fled. Some escaped because they were Jewish. Others escaped because they opposed tyranny. They carried with them something far more valuable than gold: knowledge. Among them were scientists who understood exactly what nuclear fission might become. And they became afraid, not of science, but of who might use it first. Rumors spread that Germany could be building an atomic weapon. Nobody knew if it was true, but nobody wanted to find out the hard way. Fear became the greatest accelerator of science in history. A letter reached the desk of Franklin D. Roosevelt. Its warning was simple: if Nazi Germany built an atomic bomb first, the war might already be over. That single possibility changed everything. Governments that once funded science for curiosity now funded it for survival. Thousands of scientists, engineers, mathematicians, workers, entire cities built in secret. One goal, one deadline: build the bomb before the enemy. This project became known as the Manhattan Project. It wasn't just an experiment. It was one of the largest scientific efforts ever attempted. Entire factories enriched uranium. Others produced plutonium. New technologies appeared almost overnight. Problems thought impossible were solved because failure wasn't considered an option. Every breakthrough came with the same haunting thought: what if we're already too late? But there was another fear. One almost sounds fictional today. Some scientists worried that detonating the first nuclear bomb might ignite Earth's atmosphere, ending civilization instantly. Imagine that, building something while wondering if testing it could destroy the planet. They ran the calculations again and again. Eventually, they concluded the risk was vanishingly small. So they proceeded. History balanced on probability. July 16, 1945. A desert in New Mexico. Before sunrise. Silence. Scientists waited behind protective barriers. Some wore dark goggles. Others simply turned away. Nobody truly knew what would happen. Then, a fireball climbed into the sky. The shockwave arrived seconds later. Windows shattered miles away. The desert floor melted into green glass. Some scientists cheered. Some laughed from relief. Others stood completely still. They had just witnessed something humanity had never seen before. A star, created by human hands. And almost immediately, some understood what they had unleashed. Weeks later, the world learned. 2 bombs. 2 cities. Hiroshima, then Nagasaki. Hundreds of thousands of lives were lost directly or through later injuries and radiation-related illness. The war ended soon afterward. But another era had begun. The nuclear age. Here's the paradox almost nobody expects. The bomb wasn't the end of the story. It was the beginning. Soon the world's major powers raced to build even larger arsenals. Not dozens, thousands. Weapons hundreds of times more powerful than those dropped in 1945. Enough destructive force to devastate civilization many times over. Humanity had reached a strange point. We became powerful enough to destroy ourselves. And then something even stranger happened. Why? Because every nation knew something horrifying. If one side launched first, the other would respond. Everyone loses. This became known as nuclear deterrence. Peace maintained by the fear of annihilation. Civilizations surviving. Because nobody dared press the button. It's one of history's greatest contradictions. The most destructive weapons ever created may also have discouraged direct war between nuclear powers. But that peace has always rested on fragile assumptions, communication, and human judgment. At first glance, this story seems to be about physics, about uranium, about equations, about bombs. It isn't. It's about humanity. The same species that paints masterpieces also invents machines capable of ending cities. The same curiosity that cures disease can also build unimaginable weapons. Knowledge itself isn't moral. It doesn't choose. People do. Science handed humanity a key. What we unlocked with it depended entirely on us. That realization is uncomfortable because it means the greatest danger was never the atom. It was always the human mind holding it. Our fear, our ambition, our competition, our hope, all compressed into one invention. Even today, nuclear technology powers hospitals, generates electricity, and helps scientists explore the universe. The same understanding that created bombs also saves lives. The atom never changed. Only our intentions did. And that may be the most unsettling lesson of all. When people ask how humans invented the nuclear bomb, they're really asking how intelligence became powerful enough to challenge nature itself. The answer isn't one moment. It was thousands of discoveries, thousands of decisions, thousands of ordinary people solving impossible problems, each believing they were taking just one more step forward. Until suddenly, humanity stood face to face with its own reflection. For the first time in history, our survival depended not on how strong we were, not on how smart we were, but on whether our wisdom could keep pace with our intelligence. The atom didn't reveal a monster hiding inside matter. It revealed something far more unsettling. It revealed us. And somewhere, deep inside every atom around you, That unimaginable power is still waiting. Silent, patient, unchanged. The only question that has ever truly mattered is what humanity chooses to do with it next.